So I recently just got back my MAM MB33, so it's come back from Circuit Benders UK. I'll put a little screenshot on the video now so you can see their website, and then you want to be looking at the MAM MB33 retro mod. So there's two different types of MAM MB33 for those of you that are not aware of this company and this box. There is like a rack version, which is the first one, and that one I think you can actually get some more mods on. But then they came out with the retro version, which is like this little tiny box, which is just a really small 303, which I think is absolutely brilliant. A lot of the clones that I'm seeing, they're quite large. I wanted something that would just slot nicely into this slot here, which has been messed up a little bit now because of this. But what I'm going to do is I am going to use, I'll explain what this is in a second. I'm going to use one of these jacks from Tendrils. That's going to go in there. And then I've got some room on the right here, the Typhon, just enough to shift it over so that this will fit in there and it'll slot back into where it was. And then I can put the Pirate MIDI Bridge 6 back on the top as well. So yeah, I've been wanting to do this mod for a while. I've known about it for about a year now because I kept seeing these appear on Reverb like this with the two knobs on there, and I was like, what the fuck is that? They look great. And then some people have put little caps on these as well, which I might do eventually. So what is a mod? A mod is a modification of a synth or a piece of audio unit, or you might have seen like circuit bent toys where people take kids' toys and then circuit bend them and put loads of switches and pots on them. And it's basically just a way that you kind of like drill into a chassis like this. All these are new. I'll show you which ones are the mods. So it's this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. These two extra knobs here. And then we've got FM in and CV in there as well. And I think that's it. So basically it's a way that you can just open up more on a synth and add more functionality. Obviously, this is a super small box, so we don't have any CV inputs on it originally. We don't have these switches and these knobs which allow for extra functionality. So what I'm going to do is go through the different bits of this and show you why it's basically cool as fuck. So the first one is this on the side. This is the main reason why I got this mod. I got this mod so that I could send control voltage, so CV, to the filter to be able to step lock it. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like to start with. So if we just bring up the sequence and get rid of that vocal. So I've got this going into Ableton before it hits the Octa track, and it's adding some Valhalla delay and Valhalla reverb. Let me just take them off. Without them on, it sounds like this dry. Still nice, but really just adds a nice groove and depth with those effects on. So I'll explain first is what this does. So you can't see my Euro rack, but what I'm actually doing is I am sending MIDI data. So you can't send MIDI to that, but you can send CV. So on this track here, 13, this value 5 there, you'll notice that I've step locked it like this. So each one of these has a slightly different value, and that is opening and closing the filter at a rate of 16ths to give it a groove. And I'll show you what that sounds like. If I take it off, it sounds like this. Just classic kind of like 303 pattern, and then you're the one who does this basically. What I wanted to do was I wanted to also be able to do that, but also send a step locked trig lock to it, so each of the notes are step locked, and even the notes in between as well. So when it's like a long note, there is some movement still on the filter. I can also send like LFOs and envelopes to that as well, which opens it up more. So without it, it sounds like that. With it, you get all this kind of nice bubbly action, which I do a lot with my electro tracks. It works great for like acid techno as well. So there's constantly this movement going on. And if I wanted to, I could send an LFO to that as well. So if we go CC value 5, get it moving a bit more. So it just opens up so many options there. And I'm still able to open and close this and mess with the envelope mod and decay as well. Make it super acidy. So let me just explain how this is working then. So on track 13, you can see that I'm sending data on channel 7. And then you can't see it, but I might put a picture up now on the screen of the Expert Sleepers FH2. And I've also got the FHX8 GT as well, which is a gate mod, which allows you to have an extra 8 gate triggers, and you can basically expand this as much as you want. You can see on the left side of my rack, I've got more room there. I could actually add some more expansion slots of CV and gates. But basically the idea of this is it converts MIDI data to CV. All different types of CV, whether it's like LFOs, notes, gates, just everything. And it's also got internal like LFOs and envelopes as well. So you can actually trigger it and then send an envelope from that. I might do a video on it soon. It goes really deep. It's took me a while to kind of understand it and how to program it with the software. But I've kind of got a really good handle on it now, and I know exactly how to make it work for me. So yeah, basically what we're doing is we're sending that MIDI data. It's piping out of number 5. That's just the one I went for because it was just easy to set up at the time, because I've got some other stuff going on the other ones. And then I'm sending that cable into the VCF CV. So it's 0 to 5 volts. I actually think I need to change that from 10 volt CV to 5 volt, because at the moment I'm only using like 0 to 64 on the CC here. I'm only going up to this point here, because the rest of it doesn't really do anything. So I might need to just bring down the voltage of that eventually when I get around to programming it a bit more. So yeah, we're getting the movement going there, which is cool. So that was one of the main things. You can send this into the FM as well. So the FM will do the same thing. Let me just change the source so you can see we've got source there. Let's go to FM input. So we're not hearing it yet, but as I bring this up, you can start to hear it. And that's quite cool actually, because if I do it this way, I've got a bit more control on the depth amount. And it just gives me a bit more performance. But what I've done initially is just put that in there. Eventually I will have 2 cables, one for the FM in and one for the VCF CV. And then you can even combine signals then and do this. But the other idea with the FM source is that you're able to change the input. So you can go FM input, which is this one. You can do VCF in. So on the back of the MAM MB33, you have an input and you're able to send external gear into the input. I've not actually tried it yet. But what you could do is you can basically, with that switch the internal VCO off. So nothing is coming through. So what you could do is you can disable the oscillator and just have an external oscillator coming in. Previously, what you would do is you would send something in, and then this would also trigger the VCO as well. But the other thing you could do is you can switch that to the right and not hear the audio coming in, but use it as an FM source. I think you could do it like that. Yeah, because we've got the VCF external as well. So we can actually switch that on and off as well, which is super handy. So we could turn the internal one on or off, and we could turn the external on or off. And that will allow us to use an external oscillator to basically modulate the filter. We can use anything really, audio-wise, that's coming in. Drums, I might try it at some point. And then the other cool thing about this is you don't need any inputs, because you can actually use the internal wave shapes as FM. And it sounds pretty nice, so let's check this out. It's just very unique sounding. So I like the fact that we've got a classic 303 sound, but then we're able to just add a little touch of something else to it. So I much prefer the sawtooth. It just kind of works like more nicer. And then we've got filter lock as well. I need to read the manual again on their website just to remind me what this does, but I think it just basically does that, so it drones it. But I've noticed when I'm playing like this, it's a really nice like build feature, because you can go do little fills like that. So if we've got drums playing, so yeah, it just gives more performance aspects to it for me. I'll definitely be using that live a lot. So yeah, we've got that. The other thing with the MAM MB33 as well, moving away from the mods a second, is that it adds a uniqueness of being able to glide between the waves. So as you all know, with acid synths or the 303, you have a sawtooth and you have the square waveform as well. You'll notice that the currently the sawtooth is a little bit quieter than the square, and that's just because we've got drive initiated, and it's just the way the circuitry is running at the moment. But I'll turn this off in a second and show you what it's like without the drive. This is something I wasn't expecting too much from, and I've been testing guitar pedals a lot recently. I'm going a little bit off here because I was going to talk about that. I'll come back to that in a second. I was going to buy I tried loads of guitar pedals out, and basically with the drive of the pedals I was testing, it just wasn't doing it for me. It was the pedals were either too much, or they were just like weren't high gain enough, or this was too kind of loud for the pedal, and it just wasn't. It was a lot of fiddling around, so I ended up selling quite a lot of pedals again, using Eurorack to kind of boost this up. What I found is this drive is enough for me. That is the acid sound that I like, and I'll come on to that in a minute and show you with it off, and I'll show you the original MAM MB33 sound and then the driven sound, which can be lessened or increased using the volume output. So these two actually affect the way that this plays, but that's fine for me because I absolutely love the square waveform on the 303. I always opt for the square. Sometimes in a production sense, I will go for the sawtooth. But the other cool thing with this, what makes it unique, is you've got square, you've got saw, and then you've also got second oscillator, which is an octave higher. And you can blend them together like this. So now it's kind of like we've got two acid synths doing the same line at different octaves. So yeah, really cool stuff. I love that on this. So yeah, moving over to this right hand side now. So we've got Reso Boost and we've got Drive. Maybe I'll talk about Reso Boost just quickly. So I'm leaving this off at the moment, but if I turn the resonance down, you'll notice that that's high resonance at the moment, and I could go on the back and there's like a little screw where you can increase the resonance amount, but we've also got a switch here which does resonance boost as well. So I'm going to turn the resonance all the way down, turn that on, and then start to bring this resonance up. So that's kind of where we was when we was here, maxed out, but we can go higher, which is cool because if you listen to Josh Wink's Higher State of Consciousness, I think, yeah, that's the name of the track, isn't it? Josh Wink's Higher State of Consciousness, you'll know that his track sounded unique at the time. I think partly because his 303 had a really high resonance on it, and it gave it that kind of classic sound that you know on that record. So how far you can push the resonance was unique to each 303 because no 303 is ever truly identical. Like, they are identical, but the circuitry just differs slightly on each of them. You'll hear people talking about how their 303 sounds different to someone else's, and it's just the analog nature of those of the circuitry, basically. So with this, what we have now is we have an option to really smash it. So it's a bit too much, but it'd be nice for a build-up, that though. And you can go even higher with it. So it just gives you some more sound design options. You'll notice that Reso Boost also kind of like plays around with the output gain as well, which is the drive thing. We'll come on to that now. So I kind of like it where I've got it. I might go on the back and see if I can tweak that a little bit more. Just add a little bit more, but that's plenty of acid for me. Sounds nice there. So yeah, the drive. Let's have a listen to what it would sound like without the drive switch. So check this out. So this is the MAM MB33 without the drive. So notice all these are similar volume now, and we're just lacking all of that kind of grit. Even though the MAM MB33, people have said it's a dirty, gritty version of a 303, and the output gain here will determine how much drive is added anyway. But by engaging the switch, around 12 o'clock will give us kind of like that vibe. And you'll notice these still sound the same volume, but as we start to increase this, we get more drive coming through. And as you start to get to the top of this, it really pushes the circuit. And I think it just sounds absolutely brilliant. Like, compare that to, say, Behringer's 303 clone. The distortion on that 303 clone, I'm not that keen on. It's just a bit over the top. This is such like nice saturation. Same with the guitar pedal as well. It was just too extreme for me. I was thinking of getting a rack clone to try that as well, because that's like the classic 303 distorted sound. But I like somewhere in between. I like a bit of grit, but I also like it to still have that kind of like softer sound to it as well, if that makes sense. It just sounds, compared to what this used to sound like before I sent it off to get modded, it just sounds like it's got more soul now, like more character. It's just perfect. So let's just have a quick jam with it now then, just to finish off. So let's have a quick play around with this. Kind of fucks that up at the end there, but you get the idea. So really fun to play around with. You could just honestly play a track like that for ages and just have so much fun just adjusting the cut off there. So I might do some more videos in the future of this. Maybe we'll do a track from scratch using the Digitakt as the sequencer for it. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. And if you're interested in any of the courses or presets or sample packs that I offer, we've got a Syntakt course, Digitakt 2 course, a Typhon course. We've also got the Hydrasynth Mastery course as well as a bunch of sample packs and preset packs. So yeah, all the links are in the bio. Sorry, not in the bio. We're not on Instagram. All the links are in the comment section. I've still got a cold, so I'm struggling a little bit with this. All the links are in the video description below. There we go. All right, I'll see you next time.